All right, so let's get into it, people. So our last review of the day is going to be for the TV show Mr. and Mrs. Smith here, which is on Amazon Prime right now. People can check it out. This one is not starring Brad Pitt and Angelina. This one's starring Donald Glover and Maya Erskine. Here, there. Donald Glover, people know for his variety of
Mhm.
things, being a rapper,
Never heard of him.
actor,
Man's
writer.
Oh,
you know,
sorry. You may know him by his rap name, Childish Gambino.
Childish Gambino there.
Biggest star in the universe. You know, that guy.
Doing
One,
just doing
one of the
everything.
most one of the most talented men on the planet.
Being Lando Calrissian. Yeah, he's
That guy.
Yeah, co-host of Troy and Abed in the morning.
and just doing a variety of different things there. Maya Erskine, people have seen she's been in things like Pen 15. She was also doing some voice acting in Blue Eye Samurai, which is available on Netflix. Highly recommend checking out that show, Blue Eye.
Oh yeah, she was also
Absolutely.
in this rom-com with Jack Quaid called Plus One, which is really
So
good.
good.
Okay, I've never seen that. Plus One. I have to check that out. So in this now, this is different, very different interpretation than what the movie was. Now, the movie they didn't know that they were spies initially. John and Jane Smith.
Mhm.
Here they already know they work for the same
they-
company.
Yeah, it's a company that pairs two strangers together for various espionage missions.
Yes. So they already right out the gate. It's an arranged thing where they enlist people. They say we're going to put you together with another person, a couple, and you're going to be fake married together. Well, actually, not even fake because you're going to have a real marriage certificate.
Yeah,
You're
they're
gonna
really
have,
married.
it's a totally real binding marriage that they put together that you're going to do there, and you're going to work missions together. You're going to go out, do a variety of different things, and then you see out through the series, it's like, okay, we're going to start you off a little small. You do a delivery mission, intercept, pick up the package, drop it off somewhere, and then we're kind of going to escalate you to a little bit bigger missions, like you go out and kill this person or do this or gather information. So you see that throughout the series there, that they kind of work their way up to get more important missions. And with this, it's an 8-episode series, and really you'll see a lot of really kind of names, big guest stars come in and out of this show. You have Alexander Skarsgård who makes an appearance in this. You have Paul Dano who makes an appearance in this. You have John Turturro who makes an appearance in this. Ron Perlman, Michaela Cole in this.
Sarah Paulson, Parker Posey, Wagner Mora,
Isaac Gonzalez.
and Sharon Horgan from who was in Game Night.
That was her. Yes, she was the Irish girl. Oh my God. Yes, I'm so happy. I couldn't place that face.
So you'll see a lot of kind of really big name kind of guest stars kind of coming in the show, which also helps it out a lot there. So like I said, very different interpretation than what the movie is. And kind of they do some callbacks, I think, maybe to the movie therapy scene in here where Sarah Paulson does play a
the 6th episode where it is them going to couples therapy, which is probably the best episode in the season. That's directed by Amy Simons.
Yes.
Which is really nice. So I'm gonna pass to Mark. Marco, you were really excited about this. Excited about a new Donald Glover project coming out. And he wrote this. He directed some of the episodes of this.
Yeah, he directed the final episode.
Yeah,
but he produced it along with his brother Stephen Glover, as well as Hiro Murai, who directs a lot on shows like Atlanta, on Barry, on The Bear, even.
Yeah. He also made this with Francesca Salone.
Yes, I think they created Swarm together.
Okay. Yeah, they did. She's also worked on Atlanta with him as well.
Yes.
So, Jamarco, you were really excited for this. What are your thoughts on Mr. and Mrs. Smith here?
It's awesome. End of review. No, I mean, I went into it because at this point, like, there are some people in Hollywood right now where you're just like, quality when you hear their names. Like, I know, like, Jordan Peele is gonna put out some heat. Like, some people's names just sound like. So when I heard Donald Glover was doing Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I was like, oh, hell yeah. Yeah, that sounds dope. And it was originally, I don't know if you guys remember it, going to be Phoebe Waller-Bridge as the Jane Smith, but that fell through. And then Maya stepped in.
Talk about an upgrade.
Heyo, am I right? No disrespect to Phoebe. She's hilarious.
I like Phoebe Waller-Bridge a lot. I like her writing. But I feel like the chemistry with Glover and Maya Erskine, it is one of the highlights of this show. And with
Absolutely.
any other pair of actors, I don't think this would have worked as well.
Absolutely, and that was one of the selling points because I loved Maya from Ben 15, and she popped up in things like Wine Country, great Tina Fey, Amy Poehler movie on Netflix. Check that out. But yeah, I didn't know what to expect because like we were talking about the movie, I wasn't the hugest fan of it. So when I heard the new narrative of them being spies and being forced to learn to know each other as a married couple, I was like, oh, that is interesting. And the way the show plays with not only, you know, understanding marriage, but understanding people, because John and Jane are two very, very lonely, isolated people who are now forced to share things with each other. It's like just very funny situational humor, like learning your password or, you know, farting in your sleep, just normal human things that we all deal with, but they're cold-blooded assassins. So I thought that mix was just very, very compelling to watch.
Nick, what about you?
Oh, very much the same thing. Because when I first heard that Donald Glover was attached to do a Mr. and Mrs. Smith TV show, I kind of thought, wait, really? After Atlanta, after Storm, after Community, it kind of felt like when I heard the announcement that this was going to be like a step down for him. This is him slumming it, really.
Right.
But then the more I saw of it, the more it kind of has that similar cinematic style to shows like Atlanta, like Swarm. Hearing that he brought on Hiro Murai to direct a couple of the episodes, brought him in as an executive producer, and even bringing a director like Amy Seimetz into this, it was like, okay, you had my curiosity, now you have my attention.
Exactly.
And then when the first episode gets going, you see the initial awkwardness of their first mission. You see how both this John and Jane Smith bounce off each other. And what really stood out to me is it kind of has that same attitude to violence as a show like Barry does.
Yeah.
Where the violence in this, it is cool, it's very fun to watch, but it's very unglamorous. It like has a much more grounded feeling to it that adds and just layers in the tension whenever an action set piece is coming up, especially in the opening segment of the pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you make a good point about that, about the violence in the show. And you will see some killing in the show. You will see, people being kind of blown up here, killed in a variety of different ways in the show. And I think, when we talked about, what really sold Mr. and Mrs. Smith the movie is the chemistry between the two leads, right? Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. That the peak of their sexiness, the sex appeal of things. And, you also kind of have that here with the show as well, because Donald Glover's not a good looking guy. He's a very good looking guy. Maya Erskine is also,
hey, he spends a lot of this show with his shirt off, and that boy hit the gym for this. And Maya Erskine, also a very attractive woman.
Exactly.
And internet trying to gaslight me.
Really? Internet
not hot.
These two people aren't attractive enough to lead the show.
Yeah. And like when you see them kind of working together, Marco mentioned it, really fleshing out the marriage aspect. That was also a thing about the movie too, about like seeing these two people kind of brought together. But here it's more of a situation with two complete strangers where we already see out the gate and them kind of learning to love each other and then learning to kind of come together and work together there about what it kind of really means to be in a marriage and the troubles of marriage. I thought that was really nice. And then amongst just the background of like, hey, these are two kind of psychotic people because obviously they're both killers and have killed people there before. Especially Donald Glover's character, he said like, yeah, I killed like 13 people before, one by
accident. One on accident, 13 on purpose.
Yeah.
And he's not Troy anymore.
Yeah, and even Maya Erskine is like, yep, I tried out for the CIA. I didn't make the cut. They said I had a sociopathic tendencies.
And you see them kind of together, which is really good. I think it really shows that, and it fleshes it out more that a TV show with these kind of 8 episodes does more than the movie does.
Yeah.
And
with the movie, because that movie is meant to be much more lighthearted, it's meant to lean more into the comedy and the action comedy. In this show, because you kind of have this more grounded tone with its violence, you get to really delve deep into both the great things and the very, very negative and hard things about a relationship, about two people that do eventually develop this very strong connection to each other, but also all of the trials and tribulations of being with somebody that you don't have this very open bond with.
And this was the funny scene. I like this scene right here. This is pretty funny.
Oh yeah, this was the highlight.
Underneath a shelter I made this fire. I got you this fish.
Shelter, food, fire,
Yeah.
Yeah, the show. Yeah, and as much as we're talking about the action, how dark and gritty the show is, it's still very funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
these two people are very funny, so it was very relieving to hear like, oh, jokes. Like they weren't playing it straight the entire time.
Yeah, it's uniquely funny, and only like a
Mhm.
Donald Glover show knows how to be. I
Exactly.
think,
Very
and
dry humor.
Yeah, very, very dry humor. And something I liked about the show is that every episode, it's kind of going into like the various different aspects of being in a relationship, being a couple, getting married, having that debate of, eventually, do you want to have children, dating other couples, trials with couples therapy, which is the 6th episode, which I think is my favorite episode of the season.
I'd have to agree. That was tough because I love the Ron Perlman episode. I thought that
Mhm.
was one of my highlights. How a hostage situation is mirroring raising a child in a sense. I just thought that was genius. Like, I have to go to the bathroom. Why did you go earlier?
and that was the episode 5. Yeah, do you want kids? That was,
Yeah.
with Ron Perlman. He was very funny in the episode. A lot of the guest stars that come in here are really.
Oh, they
good.
kill it. You got
Yeah,
some all stars here. So like Paul Dano and Alexander Skarsgård and
And-
Parker
and
Posey.
probably- And yeah, Parker Posey and Wagner Moura, who play another John and Jane Smith, because this company employs a bunch of different people, and they play another couple that works for the same company that they run into.
Another pair of Smiths, if you will.
Yeah, which is a very interesting a dimension to the show that isn't in the movie.
Yeah. And Parker Posey, she's always playing nutso people. So I knew.
And Wagner Moura, who you never really know how to feel when you're around him, especially
Exactly.
playing Pablo Escobar on Narcos and being the voice of the big bad wolf in Puss in Boots.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was,
Oh shit. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
and they work, and that's to highlight, like, kind of like the analogy for like the older couple who's been married for
Yeah.
a minute and
Yeah,
saying,
try-
like,
Yeah, trying to be friends with another couple.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you guys are cute. This is the episode, man. Those guys fucking suck.
Yeah, it's a relationship that has probably the darkest and the funniest ending.
Yeah, it's great.
and that was episode 4. That was Double Date.
Yeah, that was Double Date.
Double date. Yeah,
was-
that's
yeah.
a fun episode.
That's really good. And so, when they do these missions, so they get a mission, it's no real specific name. They just work for like the company.
Hi.
And then they get messages from, you said, they just call them hi, because when they start off messaging, it's just like, that's what the messenger says. And then they get these messages and they get the mission, and they have 3 fails. You know what I mean? They have 3 chances to fail
Yeah,
there.
and these people, they are
They're not
they are
pros.
not that great at their job. which
John
adds-
Wick, this is not.
which adds a layer of tension to the show, because with the opening of the first episode, we see the failures of another John and Jane Smith, and that instantly adds a layer of tension and stakes to the show.
Yeah. Which is really well done. So they have 3 chances to fail, or that's it. And like I said, James Bond, these people are not. Which also adds to things, like they're not, the most badass people
They're-
in the world.
They're like the C students that got into the AP class.
Right.
And you see, like, they also have like their own different ways of kind of doing things. Like Don Glover's more head first into things and kind of charges his way, while Maya Erskine's more, maybe a little bit more strategic. And
Yeah, she's definitely the better of these two at this job.
Yes.
And yeah, like I said, funny. I mean, this was also a good scene right here.
Oh yeah.
Don't do that.
Sorry.
Anytime Donald throws up in anything, it's great.
Yeah. Yeah, it's only, like I said, it's only in the way that he knows how to be funny. That something like that reminds you of something like that would happen in Barry. You know what I mean? Like, if
Exactly.
he would be killing somebody and kind of bring that humor to it, which I really like. Oh, go ahead, you best.
Yeah, it's like it's Donald and Hero Mariah took all the lessons they learned from Barry and
Mhm.
Atlanta and put it into one show.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, culminating into one of the best finales for a single season of TV that I've seen in a very long time. That's directed by Donald Glover,
Yeah,
and in that final episode, this is probably where most of the parallels to the 2005 film come out, because this is after John and James have separated, and of course, the fight where they try to kill each other.
Yeah.
as it ends.
Culminating into a scene that of a very, I don't want to give away the how, but a scene that culminates into this being the first time these two people have been honest and open with each other.
Right.
Yeah. Uh, and they play it perfectly. It's really good.
It's funny. It's heartfelt. It's bittersweet. It's
Mhm.
emotional. This is the Emmy
It had
episode right here.
Yeah, it had me tearing up, and I was watching this. I binge watched this yesterday while I was kind of dealing with this cold I had, and
Same
yeah,
here.
this was fucking brilliant.
Yeah, I was floored.
Yeah. I mean, as far as like what I was expecting from this show, like Donald Glover usually, I mean, he hits it out of the park typically.
Mhm.
A lot of things he does. He's pretty successful. Like I said, Renaissance man of multiple talents. There can do a lot of stuff, writing, acting.
Yeah. Created one of my favorite shows of all time, and made two of my favorite albums of all time with Camp and Because the Internet.
Same here.
So yeah, he does a lot of great stuff there. So with this, I was like, okay, I'm interested to see what Donald Glover does in this. Like, okay, it's based on the movie or just kind of following the movie a little bit, but it's totally not the movie again. It's like something totally different
Mhm.
and uniquely. Donald Glover and Francesca Salone's work there and what they kind of their vision for this series, how they expand this world of Mr. and Mrs. Smith is really good. Like I said, other Jane and John Smith that you see. And, maybe we could, maybe this can be like an anthology type thing where
Mhm.
every season maybe we get a new Jane and John Smith going around here and we get new pair of actors. That would be maybe
I
something
love that.
fun to see. Maybe we see it continue with, Donald Glover and Maya Erskine. Who knows?
Who
I think it
knows?
kind of leaves it up to
Yeah, the possibilities with this show, how Glover and Sloan have set it up, it's kind of endless. You could do literally anything with this.
Yeah, this world is so expansive. Like, who knows how big this organization is? I feel like we've only seen the tip of the iceberg. Knock on wood, we get that season 2.
yeah. So yeah, Jamarco, final thoughts rating for Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Oh God, what's the peak? Is the rating?
Yeah,
Yes.
Peak is like right below This Is Cinema.
Yeah, so I'm
That's
gonna go with
fine.
a very, very enthusiastic peak. I think, as big as a fan, I am a biased Gambino fan since like day one. So you can call me hype. I don't care, but it's really fucking good. So shut up. Yeah, but like what I've just been saying, just watching this show, is just what we've been saying with this conversation is, taking, because with reboots, some people just take the easy way out with throwing an old
Mhm.
cast member and play the hits. But to take a property and morph it and transform it into your own while
Mhm.
keeping the basis of what it's about is great. And I think Donald and his team, Hiro Murai, Francesca Sloan, Amy Smith, they've all just this ecosystem in Atlanta and Swarm, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, they're just churning out some of the best TV of our lifetime. So
Yeah.
I can't say enough good things about it.
Oh. And nothing negative for you about it?
I wish it wasn't just 8 episodes. I wish I had season 2 right now. No, I know it feels like hyperbolic, but it's just like when watching it, like because everybody on Twitter was saying the same thing. It was like, "Yo, every episode's just getting better." Because the more we look into these characters, I think the big selling point for me in the show is just these two characters, like you said, these two strangers.
Yeah,
learning.
it is basically taking you through the highs and lows of a relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah, from that first date, that first time you tell each other you love each other, that first vacation that you take, that first fight that you have, that first time you have a double date.
So you cheat on somebody, you have those awkward conversations. Hey, why are you talking to your mom so much? Like just so many things that we deal with in modern relationships put through this filter of these two spies trying to, kill all these terrible people. So I think it was just a very potent mix of just comedy and action and drama, and I think all those elements put together made for a really compelling first season.
Yeah. Also, special guest appearance from Donald Glover. His own mother is in it.
Yeah, that's right. His mother
Oh.
did a beautiful job.
Yeah, she was pretty good. Yeah. Shout out to Donald Glover's mom in this. Yeah.
Beautiful job.
Nick, what about you, man?
Oof, I had such a great time with the show that I can't give it anything but a very, very, very strong peak, barely bordering on a This Is Cinema. I love the chemistry between Donald Glover and Maya Erskine. They played a couple that I was rooting for to get together the entire time. And when they had their highs, when they
Right?
had their lows, I was just like, Jesus Christ, can you two just talk to each other?
Come
Damn
on,
it.
Jane. Just let him in just a little bit.
It's brilliantly directed by all the people that they had behind it. Hiro Murai, he directed the first 2 episodes. Third episode, First Vacation, was directed by Karina Evans. 4 was directed by Christian Speranger, and Amy Simons directs episodes 6 and 7, and Donald Glover bringing it home in the finale. Every episode is brilliantly directed. My favorite is Couples Therapy, where you're seeing the slow decay of this relationship with these two, and how Simon shoots it, how the color palette changes and gets more and more gray as the episode goes on, even how Donald Glover and Maya Erskine start sitting further and further apart on the couch. It's just a brilliant small detail that I almost missed whenever I was first watching the show. I watched a couple of my favorite episodes today to get ready for it. But again, it's one thing to take an old movie and just, repackage it for television, like we see a lot of networks do. We see, there's a SWAT TV show, there's a freaking
Hawaii
Shooter,
5-0.
Hawaii 5-0. There's like countless shows on, stuff like CBS or NBC that just take the name from a popular movie and just adapt it to television. But here, you're really taking the idea of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, put 2 spies, 2 assassins into a romantic relationship. And this movie adds a different layer to it and adds one that I think is so much more interesting to talk about.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with a lot of you guys. I think this movie works on a lot of levels. The direction of it, the writing of it, the look of the movie is really good when they actually go to a location because they do
Mhm.
some globe trotting. It actually feels like they are in that location. It's not like something like Argyle or there's like a fucking green screen in the
Oh,
background.
It's not shot exclusively on the
green
volume.
screen.
They actually went to a
Italy.
lot of these locations that they did.
So
That they
that's really
shot.
good. The music of it, Hunter bring this up. He said the score of it is
the
also
score is
especially great
great.
too. They add a lot of good, cool music drops in this as well. That's really good. Of course, Donald Glover with his musical taste and style, that's
Yeah.
going to come in.
If you love Atlanta, then you're gonna
Mhm.
love the music in here.
Yeah. Even the costumes in here, the clothing between the both of them, really stylish.
Fire.
Really
Man, the
well done.
drip, the John Smith drip.
Fire.
Yo, I
Yeah.
need that corduroy.
I need to invest in some more turtlenecks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Donald, you make those turtlenecks look good, homie.
Yeah. He makes it look good, man. Regular Frozone in them turtlenecks.
Looking cut.
So yeah, I mean, it works on that level as well. The 2 leads do a really great job together. It'd be interesting maybe to see Phoebe Waller-Bridge in this. I mean, given how
Mhm.
smart she is and funny she is with her writing, see what she would have maybe added to the series. But Maya Erskine does a fantastic job as
Mhm.
well here, and then you really buy them
Absolutely.
as a real fighting couple. And he says like each episode is almost like a stage in the relationship.
Mhm.
They're getting it's just they're married automatically already with these 2 strangers, and that's really good to see. Great performances from the guest stars that come in here and do their thing. Here's a little thing. I think at the end of this is with Sarah Paulson right here.
A job.
Oh.
It is not life and death.
She steals the show for me.
Oh, that episode has the best punchline in the entire show.
It has one of my favorite Maya jokes ever. Oh my god! Shout out to Maya. That whole segment. I don't want to give it away, but
when
there's a
they're
scene-
fighting at the campfire. Oh,
Yeah,
I know
No,
exactly
there's a
what
scene
you're
where
talking
John
about.
is hanging out with some black folks,
Yeah.
and Jane. They're undercover in a mission, and Jane gets jealous. That's all I'll tell you.
Yeah. Which also that scene kind of seemed like it was a little bit reminiscent of a scene that happened in Mr. and Mrs. Smith the movie there.
Or even getting to Atlanta.
Yeah.
It was very Atlanta. That was the most Atlanta. There's so many moments where I'm like, oh, this is so Atlanta centric.
So yeah, I mean, really awesome show. Loved it quite a bit. I think it adds something more to the culture other than something like Mr. Smith movie, which was, hey, this is a fun, cool action spy movie. Yeah, but this is, I think, a lot something more than that there. So I would,
It's asking deeper questions about kind
Right.
of modern relationships than the original 2005 movie was. But
Yeah.
then again, that goes down to artist intent with both projects.
Right.
yeah. I don't think, yeah, I mean, yeah, with the movie, it's like, okay, that the intent was
Let's just
there.
have fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I read an interview where Donald Glover was saying like he hates reboots. Like he didn't like he just thinks they're whack, but like he was watching this movie, he was like, oh, I think there's something deeper we can poke around with here when it comes to modern relationships and marriage.
Yeah.
So there you have it. Donald, just suck at something for once, dude. Like
Just please bomb at something.
seriously, I'm
Come
tired
on,
of praising
man.
you.
Yeah. So yeah, I give it a high peak there, very very high peak for Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And Jamarco, you gave it peak as well. Nick, you gave
Yes,
it
sir.
yeah, high
Yeah,
peak.
Season
it's
2.
It's peaks all around.
Yeah.
Season 2. Come on, Amazon.
I part of me wants a season 2, and so just to give light spoilers, the final episode ends in a way where I don't know how you do a season 2
Yeah.
without completely undermining the emotional payoff of this final episode.
Yeah, like I said, maybe do an anthology. Maybe you go
Anthology. Who
into a new
knows?
Mr. and Mrs. Smith there.
Just let Donald work behind the scenes, work the camera,
Yeah.
cast some new actors, maybe some Atlanta alumni. What's Brian Tyree Henry doing right now?
Ryan Tyree Henry, Zazie Beetz.
We were
Lakeith will be
talking.
a fun spy.
Yeah, we were talking in our little group chat about couples that we would want to see in like a season 2 or as a different Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and we got some
some
low-key
bangers.
Who'd you
Ones.
pick?
One. I'll pick one that I just recently said. I said Trevante Rhodes and Zoe Kravitz.
Okay.
Yeah, I put a Dylan O'Brien and I put a London Thor who was just in Gen V.
Okay, London Thor.
She was Jordan. She was the guy
she was
and the girl. Yeah.
Okay.
The girl version of Jordan.
Okay. You think it's that believable, Zoe Kravitz with a black man? You think it's that believable?
That's why it's fiction.
Okay.
Another one I had was Dev Patel and Ashley Park.
Ooh,
Okay, Dev Patel, Ashley Park. Yeah.
Especially off of what I'm seeing from Monkey Man. I want to see Dev Patel in more action
shout
stuff.
out to Monkey Man. And my first one was better than the Zoe Kravitz one. It was Aldous Hodge, from Straight Outta Compton, Invisible Man, and Amber Midthunder from Prey.
Oh, okay.
All right.
That's kind of cool. All right. Yeah, I think those are two gettable people you could get to.
Yeah, and final one before we go, I always shout out my boy. It's Andrew Koji from Warrior and Melissa Barrera.
Melissa Barrera, okay.
Shout out to Scream. Shout out to Abigail.
Good old Melissa Barrera. Okay, yeah, I see that work.
What about you, Josh? Pick two sexy, charming people.
Two sexy, charming people. Let's see. I'm trying to think of you came up with some really good ones. I like a lot of the names that you said. What's the woman's name from To All the Boys I Kissed?
To All the Boys I Loved Before, Lana Condor.
Lana Condor, I'd get her.
Jubilee.
And then I'd get let's see, let me think of another person that'd be pretty good.
Jeremy Allen White.
Jeremy Allen White.
He can't be in everything.
Why are you fucking with me? Why?
Get the fuck just throws the laptop.
That eventual fight between the two of them is just gonna get wild. It's like, why are you fucking with me?
Why are you
fucking with me?
Lana Condor, Jessica Hedwig would have been good. So she'd be good. And then who would I pick? Two males. I'm trying to think of who would be really good. Two males that I really like to see. I don't see a lot of speaking of Straight Outta Compton. Who's the guy who played Dr. Dre?
Corey Hawkins. He's incredible.
Yeah, Corey Hawkins. Maybe get Corey Hawkins.
And then Black Klansman. He's great.
Yeah, and who else would be pretty good there?
I just had one.
Kieran Culkin. Let me get Kieran Culkin.
Ooh, that's a fun one. I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah. I saw Succession. He needs something to do. Get Kieran Culkin.
I love seeing him. Yeah, so fucking we gotta go fucking find the
Yeah, we got.
guy, I guess.
Yeah, we gotta
I don't
go
know.
fucking shoot this guy in the head.
I don't know. Just look at the fucking computer. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the beauty of the show that hey, anybody could pop
Anybody
up
can
there.
be an assassin.
Yeah. Yeah. Who would be the most kind of like unbelievable couple? Do you think? Like two people, which just have the worst.
Danny DeVito and Judy Dench.
Judy Dench. Yeah, let's do a
I actually kind of want to see that.
Let's do like an older Mr. Smith. Yeah, let's do like
Just two randomly, or no, it's Daniel Day-Lewis and Ice Spice.
that would be I would absolutely love that. Yeah, or if you do
Donald,
one,
hit me up.
two old people like that, like Judy Dench or
Morgan Freeman and Nicki Minaj.
I'd say Jane Fonda, Morgan Freeman. I think they would.
Jane Fonda could probably still kick some ass. Probably.
Yeah.
Why
You
not?
know.
What was that movie? Red? What was
Yeah,
the movie
you do
called?
like
Yeah,
Red.
Red.
There
Yeah.
you go. Cast all the old folks. Denzel still doing Equalizer. There you go.
Oh yeah. So that's what we got there.